There and me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's bring in one of the newest episodes of New Music Inferno here today, which you guys are watching on the YouTube and Twitch, and I thank you guys for tuning in. We have a great band all the way from New Jersey, and we have the lead singer and guitarist on there. Their new video is out now for Outside, and I want to say it reminds me a lot of the 90s videos I grew up watching, and we'll talk about that with Tom as well. But we are going to be live here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring up the Zoom so it doesn't look like I'm looking at myself there. But hey, everybody, it is your boy Tight Spot JR, whatever you want to call me. But we're live with Tom Kanak from the band Kanak. How are you doing today, Tom? How's everything going for you? How is your Wednesday? Jeez, it's already Wednesday. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you for having me on. I thought it was Friday, so it's news to me that it's Wednesday, but I mean, and not good news, but still,
Yeah, well,
at
you're
least,
getting up
you
for a
know.
weekend for music. You're getting up to go out on the town and play some shows. Am I not? Am I right? Do you have a show this weekend? I saw
No,
you
we
not
are in
this
the
weekend.
we're in the studio right now, and we're recording the new record, which is the probably, I don't know. I love writing songs and I love recording songs and I love playing live, but recording is one of my favorite things, so I'm really excited.
Nice. And your next show is not until the end of the month at Parkside Lounge. Sorry, guys,
Yeah.
for thinking it was this weekend, but it's the end of the month, and then September 21st at New York City at Parkside Lounge as well, and then September, and then you already have a date booked for January, so that's going to be in Pittsburgh for anyone who's interested in that. But Tom, like, we were talking off air there, and I was mentioning how you've been in. Sorry. Oh, wow. I don't know what happened there. You've been
My
around in
guess
this
is hairball.
yeah. um, you've been in the industry for a while now. You got your start back, back in, I'm guessing the 90s. Am I correct or am I wrong?
80s.
80s? Okay, 80s, man. And I was born in 85, so kind of, you know,
Before that.
yeah, before that. That's awesome, though. With that being said, how much has the music industry changed in your eyes? I mean, being that you're in New Jersey, you're in the East Coast. I was originally from Pennsylvania, but you've seen a lot of things change in this industry. And what do you want to leave going into 2024 with this music and going forward to change it in your perspective?
So one of the things that's different but similar, when I was, a teenager, punk came out, and there was a lot of bands that were doing a local label or releasing their own records. And in that way, it's similar again, where you can release your own product. The difference now is that you can get your music in front of so many more people than you were able to in the 70s and early 80s. You did your self-release or you did a small label release, it was hard to get that out everywhere. Now you can get it out everywhere. It's just hard to get attention on it. So the thing that we're looking to do in this year is to finish strong with a really good record. We were going to do an EP. I think we're going to do a full record. We have 20 plus songs, and we've been debating which ones go on. So I think it'll be hard to do an EP and then leave like 15 songs in the can. So I think we're going to do 10, 12 song record.
That's awesome. Get that blood flowing with the 10 to 12 song record, and then be able to have more stuff to go out there with and
Yeah.
perform for the fans. And what is the direction of the topics? Are you switching? Are you taking it into a different mode with this next record, or are you staying what you did with this EP?
So I mostly, as a narcissist, I mostly write about myself. No, just kidding. I write a lot of songs that are very personal, and they may not appear to be very personal, like the subject matter might seem to be, just, straightforward, but to me, there's something underneath it. So a lot of these songs are self-reflective songs about, getting older and loss and trying to figure out your place in the world, sort of thing.
Definitely, and that's be able to get that out in writing and be like an outlet, kind of like a therapy to you. Like
Yeah.
most songwriters and musicians, that's what that's what they have. They have music as their therapy. They go out there, perform. They get that high energy, the adrenaline, being out there on stage. What do you like most about the industry that you've been in for a long time now, and keep on going? And I love hearing lifetime musicians and their thoughts on how they feel about now that they're still in this industry for how long you've been in.
So one of my favorite things is the camaraderie between the musicians, not just in the band, but in other bands as well. In the last couple of years, we've had the opportunity to play with some really cool bands, and you know, people are doing this because they love to do this, or they need to do this, or are compelled to do it, whatever. Very few people set out to do this to, make money. I mean, obviously, you think that maybe you could, otherwise you wouldn't do it. But it's, definitely therapy. So all those things together make it really good. And then you meet other like-minded people, and that camaraderie really matters. There's a lot of really nice people in the music industry, and the people that come to support original music tend to be really good people as well.
Definitely. And oh, we're having some issues. My internet, I don't know, crashing for some reason here on the call. I'm looking at the live feed and it's acting up. Give me a hot second on that. Apologize for that. Oh, we're back. It looks like okay. All right. I don't know what happened there, but internet issues today. We were having internet issues a little bit ago. It did go out on us a little while ago. That's why we almost had to reschedule this. But luckily, it didn't. It didn't. It was a quick flicker on and off. It looked like it was going to be off for like till 4:40 guys out there. But luckily, it wasn't. We're here, and probably that's just a repercussion of them trying to work on it wherever they're working at it in Las Vegas here. So I apologize for that. But so let's go into being that you're an artist, you're a musician yourself, and you have so much going on that you also enjoy. From what I read in the press release, you also like to cook. So, I mean, honestly, you also have you're also working.
I do.
So I want to know what would be if you could maybe like this is a weird thing. If I mean honestly, you toured a lot. You've done this now. If you could be a tour chef for somebody instead of a musician, who would you want to be a tour chef for? I mean, that would be interesting. Like, who would you want to be also like maybe like
Um,
or how about this? How about this? If you could make a menu of itinerary of foods that you would want to have on tour when you go back on tour, like a full length, East Coast tour or whatever, for your itinerary of being like you're a chef and you're probably like you. I don't know. It's weird. I'm sorry. I was reading your press release before I got on. I was like, maybe we can talk about the food stuff because food's good. I mean, and you're just just got off work from your day job because honestly we
so I
go
love
ahead.
I love to cook, but
No, go ahead.
I don't know that I would ever want to be a chef. I really like to do like one big meal, like an event meal
Okay.
for family and friends or whatever. When I normally sit down to cook, I try something really adventurous. I This past year, like I have, some older children, and when before they go out on New Year's Eve, for example, every year I have a big meal. This year I tried to make a historically accurate meal, which my kids always make fun of me for because I always am interested in his history and what foods they ate. So I tried to make a medieval feast on New Year's Eve. It was okay. It didn't come out as good as I hoped, but um, everybody tried everything, so that's all I asked. But I like to, just wing something when I cook. So if I was to either go on tour, I don't know, I like so many different foods. There's not any one food I like or dislike more than the others. Like any culture, I like it all. But I probably, if I could have any meal, I would want to have, like some historically accurate meal, which is super nerdy, I know.
So I mean, being that you've toured, back, and you've been on the road, you've toured and all that. Where was your like being on the road? Like, where was your favorite spot to eat? Like, where was like where like being the you like history and stuff, and that it's being on the road and being touring through the 80s and the 90s, and now uh, the road has changed for a lot of people, and we all know that we see the places come and go, but like for you being on the road in those those eras, what was your like go-to spot maybe that's not around anymore that you remember like going to the city? You're like, every time I come here, I have to go here. I know that's a weird question. I'm sorry, Tom.
Oh, that's good. I like the no, I like Ben's Chili Bowl in DC. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I'm not. I've
Um,
been to DC a
when
couple
I
times,
do,
but
so
it's been
there's a new
years.
current favorite restaurant that I like. But the one thing that is a legendary, been there forever, like small little chili place. It's really good. I I have changed though, like what I eat. We used to eat a lot of fast food, obviously, because of budget and just, it's convenient, but I really don't eat anything like that anymore. My current favorite restaurant is in Minneapolis, and I just had lunch there about a month and a half ago. It's called Owamni, and it's a Native American chef runs the restaurant, and the concept is that all of the meals, every single ingredient is pre-colonial. So that means that there's no sugar, there's no flour, there's no chicken, there's no cow. So it's really fascinating and interesting to me, but also delicious. What he puts together is the chef's name is Sean Sherman. He's really, really good. He won a James Beard Award recently, and I think that restaurant's been there for 2 years. He's been doing this for a long time, but that restaurant is my current favorite restaurant in the world. And I eat, like, I travel a lot and I eat a lot of different places. I mean, obviously, I love Paris. I was recently in Belgium. I love Bruges. It was really
Wow,
nice. But Owamni is my worldwide favorite at the moment.
nice, nice. Now I will have to visit Minneapolis and go there. I mean, it sounds awesome. Um, but let's get to the music. I mean, honestly, this is what we're here for, to promote
It
the
is really good.
it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. But we're here to promote the music of the band, and what you
Thank
guys
you.
are here to offer to the world. First I like to ask questions like that to break the ice, get to know the musician on different levels. So let's get to the music right now. Which song you want to go to first off the EP? You get to choose there, Tom.
I guess we could start with Outside. Outside, I think, was the first single and the first video we released off of it. And I really like the song. Sometimes you have a goal in mind or hear something in your head, and sometimes it's a little frustrating. You can't get to it, or you don't really achieve it the way you wanted to. But this is, synergy wise, this came out exactly like I wanted it to. I heard it in my head. And the lyrics mean a lot to me. I mean, as I'm sure most people feel this way, but I really always feel like ever since I was a kid, I was always felt like I was different and like an outsider and that I didn't fit in. And, this song, I really wanted to capture that feeling. I saw some city with a suicide scar, like a scar like right down their
Mm-hmm.
their thing. And I just thought about, like what that person's struggle must have been like. And I thought about being an outsider and I wrote the lyrics then. And I had found a piece of music that I wrote back in 1990 something. But when I was recording it, the tape recorder, the little micro cassette recorder before phones, the battery had warped. So it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And that was the intro to the song outside on the guitar, was from the fact that the version I had of whatever I was trying to listen to was warped.
Wow, that's an interesting little take there about the song. I like that. That's some insider info. If you didn't tell us that, we would never know how that came about, and that's great. So let's get to it right now. Here is Kanak with Outside of their EP. It's available now. Enjoy, and let's get to it. Oh, come on. Having issues. Sorry, the internet. Oh, now it's gonna go. Okay.
Is this where we do interpretive dance?
No. You can hear it though. It's good. I'm gonna mute. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, right there, ladies and gentlemen, was Kanak with Outside. Man, oh man, Tom, I love the video. I was watching the video, and I love the transition between the live scenes from different events you guys were at. Definitely an interesting take on a video. It's definitely a live video showcases the different places you played as well throughout that little tour or wherever those video internet connection and bad stuff, whatever. I don't know what's going on. It's hot out here in Vegas. Things are melting, I guess. So what I said was with the video. I mean, there was a lot of different live scenes from different sets of shows. Where were all the sets from? Like, where did you guys shoot those live sets at?
So I think uh
I'm sorry,
I
it's making you
think
think.
that no, it's a bunch of shows. No, it's a bunch of shows. There's some shows from Mesa, Arizona. We played a festival there. Some the one night, the indoor, some of the indoor night show. Those in Highland Park, Tierney's in Morristown, I think that is. I'm missing someplace else. There's another club in shows to rehearse the songs for the record, and we filmed all those to listen to how the songs sounded live, and then we just used that footage, and I synced it up with a studio version of Outside.
Nice, nice. It was a cool video. It was definitely like it showcased what you guys uh, rock out to. You know, the crowds were energetic and definitely showcase the the standard of where you guys can reach. I mean, honestly, you have far reach. You guys got to play in Mesa. You got to play in New Jersey. You know, and all the other places that you mentioned as well. You also just released 3 months ago your video Without a Clue. That's what I was mentioning earlier. I was watching that video before we got on here. Uh, the video, it reminds me of like a uh, 80s 90s music video, and this like the visuals and the how you guys recorded it as well, just like the graininess of it as well. Like it kind of just reminds me of the classic music videos that aren't overproduced and how the 90s were to me.
Well, I the song itself, it was sort of one of those songs that the melody line's pretty poppy,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted the lyrical content to be counterpoint to that, so be angry, and then I kind of wanted the video to also be angry, and it was really a song about, betrayal, like if somebody that you really trust or love betrays you, and then you were caught completely unaware and blindsided, and I wanted the video to be like that person who had been, sort of screwed over, screaming into a some sort of, monitoring camera at a mental institution, yelling at the person who caused them to feel so betrayed and snap.
Interesting, and it just that was you in the video with in the straight jacket and
Yeah.
how long did that video take? I mean, honestly, did you just do it in one day, or was it just a few
So
takes, or how did it all go?
the video, the actual shooting of with the straitjacket, I did it in one day. I let my hair get the dirtiest it's ever been, I think. And and then I filmed it. Maybe it took me an hour to film. I did like 3 takes of lip syncing to it. And then I just, picked and chose. I lined them up in the in sequence with the, vocals on the recording, and then just edited it out and stuff. I also like to do, creative things like video editing and things like that. So it's always crazy. I always start off with one idea and it ends up completely different. But I realized that I had a straitjacket in the house. Don't ask why.
Halloween
And I thought I
costume,
would use
maybe.
it.
I don't know.
Eh, yeah. We're
Okay.
gonna go with that. Yeah, that's what we agreed. But yeah, and it just came out cool, and I liked it. I mean, I think all the videos always start off sort of panicky because I always have a deadline, and I'm always scrambling to meet the.
What's the? I mean, what is the? I mean, what is? You know, I know I can tell by you're just like you're like you said you guys are in the studio trying to get this next record out, and that means your brain runs a mile a minute. Like you guys are just like working on a lot of ideas. What what would be one thing for this new record, for these next videos that you may be putting out for these next songs? What is something that we may see in the next art form that you guys are putting together for these songs? I
So I
know we're
did.
looking forward to the future because this is what, because you've been like, I know you have a lot. I can just tell by looking in your head and looking in your eyes. Like I
Uh,
know you're just like, I want to do this. I want to do this for that music video or that. Like I can tell like you're ready for this new stuff because you, with this EP that you put out, you believe in this project and that you are with the right people, working with the right people that
yeah.
you've gone friends with for a while, and you know what's something you want to do next, like to make this project just take it up a notch for this next record.
Um, well, I don't know. I always like when records have a theme. So I was hoping that, we could, I like a little reprise, like where you play like a little bit of the a previous song somewhere else tagged on to the end of another song, or you reference back. I like that kind of continuity because, my brain is sort of insane. But you are right, like I have a million thoughts a second in my head is like 10 movies playing at once, full volume. It's really sometimes, I have focus, issues sometimes, but with music is the one thing that I can focus on, and that minutia of figuring out the parts and what everybody's going to play, and same thing with video. Like those creative little things are really my escape from all the noise. But the thing I'm most excited about this record is, the first record we were sort of still learning to play together, and we went out to Ed Stasium's and we recorded that out in San Diego, and Ed was great and got really good performances out of us, but we were still sort of figuring out, who's doing what when against each other, like that natural thing that you build. And we're in a really good place now playing together. I mean, three guitars is tough. And, technically I sing, but I play guitar constantly. So, the first record, we were playing a lot of the same parts. Now we're really, really grown into something much better and tighter as a band. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the new songs because they're better than the last batch of songs, I feel. And, they're a little bit more assertive, a little bit more confident. So I'm excited about it.
I can tell you by just looking in your eyes, like you know it to be true that these songs are going to be better than the next, and you're just going to keep them moving forward and just uh, keep the
So
art form coming.
I wanted to, you mentioned something that made me think about something, the video. I did this elaborate thing about 4 years ago that I have yet to use, and maybe I'll find a song on this project to use for the video. The bass player Joe Rowley had this weird shell clown thing, and I don't know if you know what shell clowns are. In the 50s and 60s, when people would go to the beach, the local people would sell them shells glued together to look like a clown.
Okay, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So Joe had one in his studio for a long time, and I used to always, be terrified of it. And ask him about it. He's like, "It's one of a kind. It's one of a kind." So as a joke, I secretly found 12 other shell clowns and hid them around his house without him knowing it, so that he would find them sporadically and be freaked out that they were spawning. Um, he confronted me, and I couldn't keep a straight face, so I confessed. But I ended up building an extremely large red and white tent inside of my sitting room, and I put these shell clowns in there on a stage that I built, and I glued little guitars to them, and I filmed them pretending, like it was a music video. And somewhere, someday, I'm going to use that footage. And it just looks like these shell clowns are singing like little tiny mics, and I'm doing this with the camera and zooming across the drummer. And then they're not moving, obviously,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it looks pretty cool and also very weird. So I have to figure out I was gonna make a video for Disguise using it, but Disguise is Johnny's song, and I didn't want to, be flippant about the song. So
Okay. Maybe you'll just have to write a solo song again and just say this. I mean, you'll find something. I mean, it seems like it would be a great uh,
I
kind
did.
of.
I wrote a song called Clown Army for no reason, and it was just being goofy. And I write a lot of really like I write nonstop. I write every day, but I write a lot of silly, goofy songs. And in fact, there's a video somewhere on the internet of that I credited to the band called Shell Clowns. It's a PSA called Anus Breath. And essentially, it's me singing that song, Babyface, you got your, or whatever that song is. But it was during the pandemic, and it was a public service reminder to brush your teeth because people weren't brushing their teeth behind the mask. And it was all about anus breath, and I dressed as a clown in it. So it seems like I have a clown fixation now that I say it, but I do not. I promise you, I do not. I just like uncomfortable things sometimes.
I didn't like clowns at all in the beginning when I was growing up. It's kind of like clowns and Chucky were the things that were my two most hated scaring things. Like I didn't want to be like I don't know clowns. I mean I didn't like the circus because like I had eardrums like tubes put in my ears when I was young.
Oh, me
And that
too.
was always affected me with cannonballs when they would go off or anything like
Oh
that.
yeah,
And,
loud
like
noise, yeah, yeah.
like loud noises. But now it's like oh I'll go to concerts and that's a lot of loud noise. But I like music so.
But you're
It's
choosing to go there versus having it be something that you hear. And also clowns are spooky. I mean,
yeah. I
I
mean
don't know when they were cool or why they were cool or why
I don't
they
know.
expect
Killer
children
Clowns
to
from
love them.
Mars. That was a cool movie, but that was also scary as all shit with them turning
So
people into.
do you like bad movies?
Somewhat yes. We do a podcast as well called Tight Spots Lounge. My buddy Knack Attack and I. We talk about movies. We also talk about bad movies. But yeah, what
So I'm a
movie?
bad movie aficionado. I
Okay.
like to watch bad movies.
What's
Um,
one? What's a couple that you've been watching lately?
I just watched Sharkula.
Shark? What is that?
Sharkula. It's a movie from
Sharkula. Okay.
yeah, Sharkula. It's Dracula and shark combined.
Oh God.
That is that it's obviously a low budget movie, but I mean, I applaud it. It's a lot to get that done. So somebody's out there doing that. I want to watch it. Um, I thought also Sharks of the Corn was a bad one. The special effects were really not special.
Sharks.
That was good. Sharks of the Corn.
Sharks of the corn.
Clown NATO is a good one.
Tornado.
Yep,
Wow.
it's a clown tornado, just like Sharknado.
Yeah.
Um, I liked Killer Sofa. I liked Llamageddon. I mean, not liked to watch the bad movie. Llamageddon is an asteroid with llamas on it, or a spaceship with llamas on it, lands in the middle of the Midwest and kills everybody.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay. I want
or
to see.
Zombiever. Zombiever's a good one where nuclear
Where
waste.
do you watch these on? Where do you watch these on? Is
They're
it
I just for
like
whatever, I mean, my search history dictates that these show up in my screen somehow. But if you could just look them up on streaming, I mean, I think they're on Prime or this or
okay?
that. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
probably. Prime probably has a lot of the shitty movies on because Amazon will put out anything, and they will sell toilets to people. Because I used to work at a UPS store, and someone wanted to return a toilet that they bought from Amazon because they were
wow,
like dumb enough to buy one. I'm serious. They're dumb
wow.
enough to buy a toilet off of Amazon,
I think I
and
would, if I was the company, I might have a policy against returning used
well, it
toilets.
wasn't used. It wasn't used. They still had
Really?
it in the box, and they wanted to return it, but the person who they bought it from was charging them the shipping, so it was going to be $500 to ship it, and it cost them like 200 to buy it. Like, not
Yeah.
even worth it. They lose $300. Uh, but let's get back to the music and let's play another track real quick. And we're gonna do Without a Clue because honestly we were talking about that just a little bit ago. And I'm gonna give you this question. I give this question to every artist out there that I interview because I think it's a pretty cool question. And a lot of people have thought it so, but that's beside the point. Let's see what Tom thinks here. So the question is, if you could take Without a Clue and give it to any other band or artist in any style and genre of music, what artist would you want to see do that? And what song of theirs would you want to do in this style of Kanak? So think about that, and we'll get to it after the song. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Without a Clue by the boys in Kanak, and we'll be right back after this.
You're in need, I got a kick. Now I've seen your trick. I can finally flip the switch. Make the choice, make it stick. Forget you, forget your game. Never speak your name. Tell my friends that you were dead. Just like in my head. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do about it. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do about it. Find myself all alone and in debt without a clue. So fuck you. So fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. So fuck you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there was the song "Without a Clue" by the boys in Kanak. We are back with Tom and my one listener out there who's a good supporter of the show. He's watching, he's talking. There's other people listening, but not a lot of people chatting. They're just taking it all in. But Christopher J, he's a DJ out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Works for Scranton. He wants to know if you also like bad horror movies too. And also, he said Lamageddon is ridiculous, and he also said he says that you probably will because he also know. He says tell him that was one thing Zappa loved too. Really cheap bad movies.
Yeah, I love any movie that's homemade. A, I appreciate the effort, and B, I always am, sometimes really surprised by what decisions people make. Like in Sharkula, for example, it looks to me like it's a photo of a shark cut out of a magazine and a photo of bat wings cut out of a magazine, taped together on a screen with bubbles in front of it to look like it's underwater. Creative, but like I think, like if somebody looked at that 1,000 times and thought, yeah, that's okay. Anyway, I find it funny and it's good. But I was actually in a not a bad horror movie, in a good horror movie called Theater of Terror. Some guys I know make some low budget horror movies, and these are good movies. They're well written, well acted. But I was actually got to be in a crowd scene in one of them. So not only I like to watch different movies, but I was in a movie, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I have not been in a movie, but if so, I'd probably die first.
I was in a crowd scene where I yelled at a mayor in a werewolf section of the movie, and I yell "murderer." So
That's cool though. I bet you're making music videos. People are watching those, so you're you're doing your thing, and being in movies is a secondary nature. And I hope you can be in more. You never know. I mean, honestly, movies are made every day. Maybe you're gonna call next time and be like, hey, you can be an extra in this.
well, if they saw my method acting with my dirty hair in the Without a Clue video, I think you would have to say it deserves a shot at something a little more significant.
You never know. But so let's get to, well. Let me ask you this. I mean, this is a weird question though, because like you said, you like bad movies. If you could put any of your songs into a bad movie and be
Ooh.
that your song was the only memorable thing out of that movie, what movie would that be? Like, what movie would you want that to be in? What would, like? I mean, the bad movies you've watched. Like, if you could be like, okay, nothing was memorable about that movie, but my song was in it, and that's why it was memorable for
I
everyone
don't
who
know.
watched it. That's
That's
weird.
a
That's a
really
that's,
interesting
it
question.
is interesting. I'm sorry, but like it was
No,
like
no, no. I think the song "Too Late." If if somebody decides to run in a horror movie and the song Too Late started playing because they were too stupid and they didn't run right away, I think that would be a good one. But I did write when I was I was in a couple of bands in the early years. I was in a punk band called Mischief, and I was in a sort of alternative rock band called Well Souls. When we were in Well Souls, we wrote some songs for consideration for movies, and there was this Japanese horror movie, and we wrote Monster Wrecks Your Town, unreleased, but you can imagine what it was about.
Okay.
Um, didn't make the cut for the movie, but it was fun to write.
Maybe one day someone will be like, okay, there's some unreleased tracks that we've had in our collection that's never been used, and that's one of the songs. And then, like, years later, your children get the royalties for that song because you wrote it and they used it. You never know.
In that scenario, I'm dead though, right?
No, no. I don't know. Like, I don't.
I might be. It might kill me if that came out as a song. I
It would
might
be
be
crazy
so
to
shocked.
see. It would
Yeah.
be crazy to see.
Yeah.
But it's possible. But let's get to that final question I gave you before we did the song break there, and it was if you could give without a clue to any band or artist to perform in their sound genre of music, who would it be, and what song of theirs would you want to take to make it into a Kanak song?
Hmm. Um, a living or dead, does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Um, wow, I have so many thoughts. Like there's a real I I might want to do have the Dead Boys do Without a Clue. I think that'd be pretty interesting
Okay.
for me. One of my favorite bands. And I would probably do want to do a cover of All This and More, maybe by them. I mean, we play Sonic Reducer a lot live because it was the first. That's the song that made me from a Beatles fan into a punk fan. Somebody in my friend, somebody came up to me with a Walkman cassette in the bathroom in ninth grade and said, "Hey, listen to this cool music," and I loved it, and I was hooked from then. So Sonic Reducer is big, but if the Dead Boys did Without a Clue, I think that'd be really cool. I think they would snotty it up and make it snarly. Um, would be interesting.
That's awesome. That's cool that you had a friend who did that to you. Like, hey, listen to this, and boom, you were
Yeah.
hooked. And I can remember like my friends did our group of friends did the same thing. Like, oh, check out this band, and
Yeah.
or like I worked personally. I was like one of the friends that worked at a record store. I got to work at FYE, and my music growth from being in a store like that changed drastically. Like, oh hey, like I have access to this record or that record. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then I have like a shit ton of vinyl now. Like I'm a total music nerd and all that. But that's awesome. And maybe one day we'll see that happen. Like you already said, you play Sonic Producer live. Uh, Maybe you'll take the other song and make it
Yeah.
happen on a cover record down the line or
So
another
I think
album.
one of the things we've been talking about doing, and I think I'm going to post this on social pretty soon and ask, um, like we're working on this record, and I like to, put fresh content out as often as we can. And we like during rehearsal, we do a lot of really weird covers. Like we'll play, really unexpected songs like Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran. We
Mm-hmm.
do like a really punky version of, and we do a bunch of other we play some Beatles songs, we play, some punk songs, we play Miley Cyrus, Angels Like You. Like we do crazy anything. We do a really good version of Brutal by Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh wow.
Really cool. It's a great song. I mean, a really well-written song, and I mean, I really liked her first record. I thought it was really good. But I think I'm gonna probably ask people out there what songs we should cover, and then we're gonna go in the studio and just do a whole bunch of cover songs, and then just release them, ad hoc between, record releases.
It'd be interesting. I mean, there's a lot you guys can do. Like you said, you do a wide variety. Well, you guys are just jamming out, practicing to warm up, to get your vocals ready, and their fingers ready to go, and just jam out in the songs that you guys need to know. But also, that's a cool concept to do that with the content to make all this happen with all the different like responses you'll probably get. I mean, honestly, probably people were like, "Oh, you should do this," or I mean, there's so many like I don't know. I'll think of some songs and I'll tweet at you guys and Instagram.
Have you? I'm a really like in the same way that I like bad movies. I really like unique covers. So I don't know if you're familiar with like the Hayseed Dixies. Are you familiar with that band?
No, I don't.
They're a bluegrass band
Okay.
who started off just doing AC/DC songs,
Oh
bluegrass
wow.
stuff. And they're really, really good musicians, like top-notch musicians. And then they did a whole bunch of other, music. And then they also did their own original song. I think there's a song called "Keeping Your Poop in a Jar," which I'm a big fan of. It's the ultimate breakup song. My kids weren't thrilled that I used to play it in the car really loud when we were driving their friends around, but um, it's a good song. So, yeah, covers. I love a good cover. I love a clever, unique take on something.
Yeah, and then there's just just random songs that you're like, nah, we should never cover that. Like,
I always take that as a challenge. Like, is there a song out there that is, you know, something that nobody would do that I have to like it though. I have to be able to like the song. And I like pop songs, like I like a
mhm.
strong, well-written song and a good melody. But if I like the challenge of take this song that is unexpected and try and make it your own and do something with it that's, respectable or cool or whatever.
I think we need a band that does covers of just one hit wonders.
So it's funny that you mentioned that.
Like
I was
legit
I was
covers in a different style. Like don't like
oh well, that's different.
purposely do the style that the song is, but like do it in the style of your band. Like your band would
Well, I
do.
like
Uh,
Richard Cheese. You ever listen to
yep.
Richard Cheese?
Yes.
Richard Cheese, I like. And my friends were in a band called Everlounge, and Everlounge did lounge versions of songs, and they were very similar to Richard Cheese, but I don't know which came first there, the chicken or the egg. But I was in a band. I was only in a couple cover bands in my life, just because, make ends meet. And I was in a cover band called the Spectators, and we did nothing but one-hit wonders. We wore suits and ties on stage, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, get to learn how to play certain songs. Like I felt it was good because you play Magic by Pilot and you realize the structure of that song, and then you start to learn what makes those songs hits. And it was really helpful for songwriting.
Nice. Well, let's wrap it up here. I want to tell you, Tom, I appreciate taking the time out of the day to be on the show, and I know my listeners and my viewers who are sitting back and enjoying a Wednesday evening, hearing us talk about music and so much more. I don't get a lot of interaction with people in my chats, but they do listen. They do come back and they do comment sometimes and all that good stuff. But I know Christopher J out there who definitely enjoyed
Thanks, Christopher J.
the interview, and maybe you guys will have to go up to Scranton Wilkes-Barre or Wilkes-Barre Scranton PA and play a show there, and maybe you'll be able to pop in at a show one weeknight or weekend.
Christopher
And,
J, reach out to us. We play in Pennsylvania frequently. In fact, those January shows are out in Pittsburgh area. It's not Scranton, but we just played Philly a couple weeks back. So, we'd be open to talking or at least doing an interview, whatever. Let us know.
there you go. And everybody, Tom, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you on the World Wide Web, your the websites and stuff like that as well.
So I
Real quick.
think it's kanakmusic.com or Kanak. So actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's Kanak, Kanak, band official. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. But the actual website is kanakmusic.com. And beware, apparently there's a subgroup of folk people that live in, I think, Macedonia or Micronesia or someplace that are called Kanak as like a native group of people that are
Oh, did
rebelling
not know
against
that.
the French government. I didn't either. It's just the phonetic spelling of my last name, and everybody was like, "Oh, you should just do this." No one is going to have this name, but not only is it a group of people, like an ethnic group of people, but it's also a folk music scene. So you can imagine that there's a lot of Kanak out there.
Yeah.
But
Well, Tom, thank you so much. You have a great
thank you.
day. Pleasure talking with you.
You too.
Everybody go pick up their record, their EP, and their new one coming out next year. Or, yeah, definitely next year. So stay tuned, guys, for more Kanak music. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this new music episode of New Music Inferno. And we'll be back with more here in a little bit with our friends in Alibi. So everybody have a great night. Peace out, and talk to y'all soon.